This is Balance of Power on Bloomberg Television and Radio. I'm David Weston. We all have a lot to absorb right now. A resurgent COVID virus, prices rising, and a debate in Congress over more fiscal stimulus. For a sense of what the voters are thinking about right now, we welcome back famed pollster and political strategist. He is Frank Luntz, CEO of FIL. So Frank, great to have you back with us. It's hard to know where to start, but let me start with inflation, because it's something we talk about at Bloomberg all the time, but also it seems like people across the country are talking about it. I hear it everywhere. You go to buy a Christmas tree, how much more expensive it is. What is the voter reaction right now to inflation?
Well, the key aspect here is what they call it. So no average American actually calls it inflation. They talk about how more expensive everything is, how prices have gone up, how the costs have gone up, the cost of life. And what's significant is that inflation bothers people the most during the holiday season. So the cost for driving to grandma's house is much more expensive. The cost for serving the Christmas ham or the Christmas turkey is more significant. But it's more than that. Buying your child or helping your child buy their first house, buying a car for a member of the family. I believe that if there's one aspect of the economy that is the greatest threat to the Biden presidency right now, it's cost, because it affects every human being, regardless of where you are in the country, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or Republican. And the voters are angry about it, and it's only just begun. When you reach Christmas, the new year, the level of frustration is going to increase. And I think that that's going to be a direct contributor to Biden's numbers, his credibility, his support, his approval ratings. I believe they're going to fall in the early part of 2022.
As I introduced you, Frank, you're not simply a pollster, you're also a political strategist. Has the Biden administration and the president himself made it worse for himself by insisting it's going to go away, when people are going to the grocery store and saying it's not going away for me?
Don't make promises you can't keep, and don't tell people that it's 1929 and happy days are here again when they're in the middle of a depression. And in fact, I think the cardinal error of the administration is telling people that the economy is strong when they themselves don't feel it. Now, make no mistake, the unemployment numbers are very strong, that people who want to work can work. But the problem is, even if you can afford the higher prices, you can't even buy the goods and services you're trying to find. And in my walk through the country over the last 2 weeks, I see so many small businesses shuttered. This is the backbone. This is the strength of America, not just corporate America, but those small businesses. And they are suffering or they're closed. And the ramifications of that politically are truly significant.
Well, and what are the ramifications for the Build Back Better that they're wrestling over, if I can put it that way, up on Capitol Hill right now? Is there a connection between the two? Because it looked to me earlier on that the poll numbers seemed to support it. I think they may be drifting south.
Well, make no mistake, most of Biden's programs on the surface have a majority support. But the moment the public is asked, are you willing to pay for those programs, the public says no. So if they eventually pass this Build Back Better program, if they eventually pass these various expenditures, they're going to have to be tax increases, and the public is going to be outraged at that. So I'm looking at promises made that are not kept. I'm looking at a commitment from Biden himself to be a unifier, not a divider, and taking a different approach. And actually, the most important politician in America isn't Kevin McCarthy or Mitch McConnell, and it's not Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. It is actually Joe Manchin. And what he is doing, which has the support of 2/3 of West Virginians, what Manchin is doing is he's holding up programs that the public isn't sure they want, and they know they don't want to pay for. The most important Democrat in America right now, and the man who might be responsible for Democrats keeping control of Congress, is Joe Manchin by his opposition. I know the left is angry with him, but the truth is he is right down the middle, and he's exactly where America is right now.
So, Frank, obviously we're all concerned about prices, as you put it. We're concerned about Build Back Better. But overhanging all of it is COVID. And whether it's Delta or it's Omicron, it's affecting increasingly all of our lives. You've spent as much or more time as anybody in trying to understand how regular people are interacting with this disease and the possibility of vaccinations. Give us a sense of where we are in America right now.
And on this, I've absolutely taken sides, bluntly. I believe that people should be vaccinated. I've got my booster shot. And if I'm told I have to take another, I will gladly do it. To me, American science, American medicine is a miracle. And our medicines I trust more than any other country because of the FDA and the CDC and the decisions that they themselves make, knowing that people will be held accountable. Here's the problem. Those people who are not vaccinated right now don't want to get vaccinated and are not listening to the science. And only through this latest Omicron spread of the virus are people taking another look at it. The challenge that we've got is that people who wear masks hate those who don't, and vice versa. People who've been triple vaccinated hate those who haven't, and vice versa. Never in American history has the science and the medicine so divided the country. And David, I'm frightened because we don't even listen to the facts anymore. We only watch what we agree with on television and through the web, and we don't pay attention to what's really happening. We pay attention to what we want to be happening. And that's going to cost us lives in the weeks to follow.
Well, it's not often that you'd say that the politics actually can determine life or death. This time, if it is a political decision, which it seems to be for a lot of people, it could actually cause people to live or die. Is there anything that you think we, and that could be the government or otherwise, could do to improve the situation?
Yes, I want people to go to the De Beaumont Foundation website, because that's got all the information. It's got all the facts. It's got no interpretation. There's no politics in it. It's simply what's happening right now. I want people to listen to Dr. Tom Frieden, formerly of the CDC. I want people to go ask their doctor, please, after you see this broadcast or listen to it, call your doctor and ask her or him what they advise. 95% of doctors are vaccinated. I think if there's any proof that these vaccines work, that's it. And I know that as you have these variants, there's going to be challenges to whether or not the vaccines actually do work. The fact is, if you're not vaccinated, you are 8 times more likely to be in the hospital and 9 times more likely to die. David, I don't know any other facts better than those.
Okay, thank you so much. It's always great to have you with us, Frank. That's Frank Luntz. He's the CEO of FIL. Coming up, Frank has told us about the voters, where are our lawmakers as we rush into the end of the year. We get that report next. This is Balance of Power on Bloomberg Television and on radio.